to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting will come to order. Okay. And we will go on to the first order of business, which is public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. First order of business, Fairfield Farmers Market opens mid-May. It's already open and is held on Wednesdays from 2 to 6 and Saturdays from 9:30 to 1:30. The market is located at the Fairfield Church of the Nazarene at 81 Main Street. The town office and all non-emergency services will be closed on Monday, July 5th in observance of Independence Day. Moving to our second order of business, public hearings. I declare public hearing open to hear the public comment on the discontinuance of the 2006 Town of Fairfield Main Affordable Housing Development District's Development Program, WHA Incorporated, and Mountain Avenue Fairfield LLC. Is there any discussion, comment? Did we have anything come in over the...
We had no questions regarding this at all since the public hearing notice was posted, and this is, if you remember, we've never received any funds because of this district,
Right.
as part of this district, and it's two separate housing developments. Neither of them have come to fruition, and now in your next public hearing will be to take up a new TIF for the Mountain Avenue location. And they need the full 30-year term of a TIF. So the best way to handle that is to dissolve this original TIF and then start all over again. I do have written acknowledgement from WHA, which is the Waterville Housing Authority.
Right.
I've spoken with their director. She has emailed me. They are fine with the dissolution of this TIF district, and that should they come forward with a project, they would look to negotiate their own individual TIF district for that location.
Okay. Is there any other questions, discussion, etc.? All right. Hereby close this public hearing. Second public hearing I hereby open, and that is to hear public comment on the adoption of the 2021 Town of Fairfield Main Affordable Housing Development District and Development Program for Mountain Avenue Apartments. That's the new slip that you just got.
The new district, and we were provided with an updated packet this evening. If you remember when I sent this out to you last week, I had said that we were waiting on some feedback from the state. One of the big changes in this is actually, quite frankly, its name. We realized today that the developer has a limited partnership as Mountain View Apartments as opposed to Mountain Avenue Apartments. So we're just looking to change the name to Mountain View Apartments so that way it's it doesn't cause any confusion at a later date. It is a singular piece of property that is left over from the sanatorium location on Mountain Avenue.
Yep.
It is 3.96 acres. It meets with all of the thresholds that we have. The TIF district is written so that it's a 100% retainage of the increase in property taxes, all of the captured assessed value, with 75% going to the developer and 25% going into an account for the municipality for future housing projects and funding, whether it be the town that does them or a developer that does them. It is for a term of 30 years. There's a draft credit enhancement agreement that is located within your packet that I actually received the wording from the state. It is fine to submit this as a draft, and it doesn't get finalized until all of the pieces fall into place. I believe they're still waiting on environmentals at this location, but it is a planned 28-unit apartment complex. It will be 60% of median income, and it will require the head of household to be at least 55 years of age. So it's a great use of this property and fills a great need that we have here in the community with regards to...
Is that the old sanitarium itself or above
yes.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the brick building that's down, the lower piece there. So it'll be remodel of the brick building plus an addition that I think includes an additional 4 apartments.
Okay.
With some, communal living spaces downstairs, laundry, those types of facilities. No commercial space. So sometimes these projects have spaces within them where they allow commercial entities to come in, such as stores or that kind of stuff, and none of that
Yeah,
will
it's too small.
be allowed there.
Yeah.
And it'll be managed by a housing firm out of Portland.
Yeah. Some will be 1 bedroom, some will be 2 bedrooms, they'll all be 1 bathroom.
Yep.
Okay, so there's nothing actually going up where the old sanatorium was?
No, this is the lower current vacant building that's part of that old
the,
complex.
The old folks.
Yeah, and then it turned into something else.
Assisted
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
Pleasant Hill Nursing Home.
Yes, nursing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay, so that's the one that's
the one that they're being.
Okay, it's not
Yeah.
the Exodus Sanatorium itself.
up, the white buildings up on.
Oh,
No, none of those up
That
on
was the
top.
actual sanatorium up there.
okay.
Yep.
It's down below.
Any more discussion, questions, et cetera, et cetera? I declare public hearing closed. Moving on to the third order of business, which is public comments. 3-minute limit on time. Members of the public may email comments for council at info@fairfieldme.com by 4 p.m. the day of the meeting on any topic or agenda item. Items may be read aloud at this time. Were there anything that was sent in?
It was not, but I do believe we have 2 gentlemen that would like to reserve the right to speak on item 90. Correct?
Yes.
Making a note of that. Thank you.
Okay. And they're going to be talking on specifics.
Regarding the RFQ.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll move on to reports from staff and committees. Town manager report.
Right. So it's been a while since we've met, and a lot of the stuff that I've been working on in the last month we're actually taking up this evening, but just as a quick update, May 27th, I attended the First Park Executive Board meeting. On June 1st, the Economic Community Development Committee met. And June 10th, I attended the KRDA marketing meeting. June 14th, the Charter Review Committee met, but we did not have a quorum, so we're working on a new date for that. They have pretty much finalized their work and are ready to make a recommendation to the council. June 15th, I attended the KVCOG annual meeting. It's the first large-scale meeting I've attended in person in well over a year, so that was a little interesting. June 16th, the RFQ Review Committee met, which we will discuss later on in the agenda. And then an update on some of our projects. All town departments have returned to normal operating hours as of June 1st. It was exactly 1 year to the day that we had altered our schedule because of COVID. And so far, things have gone fine. Masks are requested but not required, and folks have done really well at adhering to signs and pacing themselves and that sort of piece. The library staff, while they are missed, are no longer in our building. They've gone back to the library because they're now open. Painting repairs the outside of the fire station are underway, and that is progressing nicely. And then also, just in case you're not aware, on Monday, the governor signed emergency legislation regarding PFAS limits in drinking water. The new state law set main limits at 20 parts per trillion as opposed to the EPA's limit of 70 parts per trillion, which they had been going off from. This will affect anyone who's been tested by the DEP, and their range was between 20 and 70 parts per trillion. These residents will be added to our bottled water distribution list. They currently have approximately 39 residents on the list with a potential water demand of 644 gallons. I was told to anticipate approximately 40 additional residents due to the change in the law. It is anticipated that this volume of bottled water will be difficult for the fire station to house and accommodate, and we'll be working with the DEP to try to find a solution to that. As of right now, everybody that is within that threshold is supposed to be being notified by DEP. They'll be added to our list. We will do whatever we have to do to make accommodations for this week, for Friday, and we'll try to figure out a solution going forward. One of the things that we have discussed is that if you have a stockpile of bottled water and you do not need to actually acquire water this week, We would ask that you wait, if possible, simply because of the fact of the numbers. We don't even know at this point how many people we're going to have to serve with these additional 40 locations. So we're working through that, though. And that's it for me.
Oh, God damn it. We know.
I muted Dwayne.
Huh?
I said I just had to mute Dwayne. It's fine.
All right.
It's only the fire chief and the reporter from the Morning Sentinel in our Zoom meeting, so I figured it had to be one or the other, and it was him.
Okay. So I presume that that also means that those people that are having that problem will wind up getting their wells
Filtration systems.
filtration
Yes.
systems put in.
So when I spoke to the DEP today, they had mentioned that with their contractor that is doing the installs for the filtration systems, it had been suggested that those companies, I think there's a couple of different ones that they're using, started stocking up on materials. They had anticipated this. What the issue was is that nobody was really sure when it was going to get signed, so the fact that it was done on Monday evening has come as a bit of a surprise to everyone, because we are really, they've been trying to figure out a solution for centralized distribution for water. We are actually providing water to one Oakland household at this time. They're right on the town line, and they asked us if we could cover them. This change will bring in one additional Oakland household, so there'll be 2 Oakland households at this point, because arrangements hadn't been made for anything in Oakland, and at the time, they had gotten the results at the 11th hour.
Okay.
So they're working on something that hopefully we can figure out a way, because if this comes in where we think it might, we're looking at well over 1,200 gallons of water that we could potentially need every week, and we just do not have the inside space to store that or a secure location to put it in.
Right.
So they're looking at some mechanism of storage and distribution.
And that's the DEP.
The DEP, yeah. I have suggested a tractor trailer, potentially parked down here at the community center as a centralized distribution location, which they could staff on Fridays during the day and then provide the municipality or various municipalities a limited supply of water that they could store for folks who can't get there between the times that they man that trailer. That is something that they're talking about, but nobody's really sure yet what's going to happen, so. Work in progress.
Okay. Move on then to the town clerk's election report.
Great. So as you can see, it was a very low turnout election. The current number of registered and enrolled voters is 4,562. The total number of voters that cast ballots for this election was 152. That's a turnout of 3.33%. We only had 24 absentee requests, 23 voters returned their ballots, and on Election Day, we only had 3 voter registration transactions, and they were all for updates to a current voter. 1 spoiled ballot, so while it was a low turnout, in addition to our poll workers, the elections are still a town team effort, and I just want to always remind everybody it's a job well done by all, and that we continue to pride ourselves on maintaining the integrity and compliance of elections, and it's an honor to continue administrating our elections and another successful one under our belt, and still no cases of COVID attached to any of our elections. So
Great.
Very proud of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. All right, now moving on to our 5th order of business, which is our consent agenda. Now, these items are considered routine or standard.
We
Yes.
have to do the committee report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the committee reports. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I got it one step ahead of myself.
I'll forgive you. You want me to go first?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the Economic and Community Development Committee met at the beginning of June. As of then, there was no news on the AARP grant for the Mill Island project. We did discuss the waterfront plan, and that's to be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. We should consider our short-term goals to focus on Mill Island and Mill Street down here. And our long-range planning considerations would involve Shawmut and the Hinckley water frontages. Garvin Donegan from the Central Maine Growth Council outlined briefly the guidelines and best practices for a waterfront plan. And all in all, the East Economic and Community Development Committee has to keep in mind how the community will react, and we already have some feedback because of the survey that we did, and also how to sell the project once a plan has been devised. During the meeting, the elephant in the room, of course, was the discontinuation of the Shawmut Dam, and I think we'll be having some more discussion on that. For our next meeting, we will be reviewing waterfront plans that are already in existence and taking a look at site maps and analyses to help us create a waterfront plan for our town. Our next meeting will be July 13th at 3:30. There was a lot to say, so I had to write it all.
Either Zoom or live.
Either Zoom or live.
Live.
Thank you.
Okay. That being done, other committee reports.
June was just another busy month for the Legislation Policy Committee. We was just getting emails all through every day about what the hearings were happening, and try to support our, try to get our representatives, how the, what we think the vote should be. Our job was done as the 16th of June when the legislature adjourned at dark out or early Friday morning. So we're still getting emails once in a while. So that's it.
Okay. And are there any more committee reports?
The Charter Commission did meet,
Yep.
and we didn't have a quorum, so we're looking at
Okay.
another meeting sometime in July.
In July, okay. Hopefully we can get a group,
I hope so.
yeah. All
Meetings
right.
in the summer are hard. It's just the way it is.
Sometimes. All right, so moving on then from the fourth order to the fifth order of business, which is the consent agenda. And again, these items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 21-79, which is ordered that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for the meeting of 2021-10 held on May 26, 2021. Item 2180, ordered that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's Warrant Number 76 General Fund in the amount of $91,289.97, not limited to but including motor vehicle, Lynch Landscaping, Fire Tech, and Celebrate Software. Item 21-81, ordered that the Town Council hereby approves and signs the sewer certification of commitment in the amount of $161,285.25 for the fourth quarter fiscal year sewer billing for the period of 4/1/21 to 6/30/21.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. There being none, all in favor? Carries unanimous. Moving on to the sixth order of business. To take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. The first order is item 21-82. Order that the town council hereby approves discontinuance of the 2006 Town of Fairfield Maine Affordable Housing Development District's Development Program, WHA Inc., and Mountain Avenue Fairfield LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Nothing from the public? Okay. All in favor? Carries full. Item 21-83. Ordered that the Town Council hereby adopts the 2021 Town of Fairfield Main Affordable Housing Development District and Development Program for Mountain Avenue Apartments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Yes.
Could I get you to change that to Mountain View Apartments instead of Mountain Avenue Apartments in your motion?
So moved.
We have a
Just
second.
a friendly little amendment.
Second.
Okay.
Friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment. All right.
All right.
Yes, Steph?
First of all, through this whole plan, I'm really pleased to see that the 25% that is left from the taxes in the TIF is going into that designated funds for future development for housing. I also think that this lays a very good groundwork for our future, and having it all written up and the way it is good. And I thank you, Michelle, for doing that. It must have been quite an endeavor.
It's taken a long time.
Yes.
I'm glad that it's almost over.
And supposedly, according to their timeline, the construction will be done by the summer of 2022. And then by the fall, people will be able to move in, and I think that's a very good timeline. I like to see that that's going so quickly. My only concern is there's going to be an elevator, because if you've got 55 plus, you can't have a lot of stairs, and I can't remember if there was an elevator in the building back when it was Pleasant Hill Nursery.
I would believe that it'll be a requirement, actually, because of the number of stories that are there. I can't remember if there's an elevator in the building or not. And I would think at this point, based upon the condition of the building, if there
Probably
is an
not
elevator,
operational.
it's probably not working.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah. So the official plans for this, I'm not sure if they've been completely finalized. Like I said, they're still waiting on some environmentals. And the great thing about these projects, too, is the Maine State Housing Authority is very, very involved with this process, with oversight and compliance and all of that. So it's a good piece.
I'm anxious to see everything come to.
Me too. It'll be good to see that building finally used.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been sitting empty for a couple of years.
Anyways, yeah.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Carries full. Item 21-84. Order that the Town Council hereby authorizes the use of contingency funds as may be necessary as of June 30th, 2021, to cover expenditures that may exceed annual budgeted amounts.
So move.
Go ahead.
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Isn't this normal? Don't we always seem to do?
We do this every single year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware of any at this point in time. I'm not aware of any budgets that are
Where-
that are going to go over.
Right.
So I don't anticipate.
How much
that
do
there'll
we
be-
earmark, or would you earmark them?
So we don't anymore. We used to appropriate, we used to appropriate funds within the budget, but they just came from a capital reserve account labeled contingency. So we don't even put it
Okay.
in the appropriations anymore. It's in the contingency budget, which I think
Right.
has, this is outdated, but as of the end of, and it's probably about the same, other than a little bit of interest, the end of March, it currently has $59,711 in it, so.
Yeah.
We don't appropriate any money into it, but we also haven't taken any out of it in the last couple of
Okay.
years either, so.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Carries full. Moving on to item 2185. Order that the Town Council hereby approves the sewer enterprise budget for fiscal year 2021 to 2022 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Yes, Michael? Oh, no, okay. Anybody have anything, any discussion? All those in favor? Carries full. Item 21-86. Ordered that the town council hereby approves the Crossroads TV budget for fiscal year 2021 to 2022 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Yes.
Overall, the increase in the budget is due to the hiring of an assistant,
Correct.
which was so badly needed, but otherwise, everything is very well planned out, and I really hope now that we're past the crisis of the pandemic, things will start to open up for the Crossroads TV.
So additional programming has started. They've brought back the programming with Sunset Greenhouse,
Oh, good.
which is, intro is phenomenal. So, and so they've already filmed 2, and I think about to film 2 more, or already have filmed the additional 2. So we're hoping that our options for programming are going to get greater and greater. So that's good.
Okay. No more discussion. All in favor? Carries full. Moving on to item 21-87. Ordered that the town council hereby signs quitclaim deed for property owned by Timothy M. Jurdak, located at 19 Willow Street, map lot 10-59.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, questions, etc. All right. All those in favor? Carries full. Item 21-88, ordered that the town council hereby signs a quitclaim deed for property owned by Joseph Lefebvre, located at 61 Kennebec Street, map lot 025-022.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Discussion? None? All those in favor? Carries full. Moving on to item 21-89. Ordered that the town council hereby approves 2021 to 2022 funding for the Town of Fairfield Facade Improvement and Marketing Assistance Program in the amount of $30,000. $15,000 to be expended from the Industrial Park and Natural Gas TIF, and $15,000 to be expended from the Teague Route 201 TIF.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, questions, etc.
So far, we haven't had any requests in quite a while.
Just got one on Monday.
You did?
I did.
All right, we'll be talking about it then.
We will be.
That's not a committee meeting. Good. All right, I'm done.
You're done. Anybody else?
Nope.
All in favor? Carries full. Item 21-90. Ordered that the town council hereby awards a contract for civil and environmental engineering services for planning and developing of public drinking water infrastructure, with funds to be expended from the Planning and Development Reserve account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Lots of discussion. Discussion. What would you like to discuss first? Our review process?
Whatever.
So, like I had alluded to in my manager's report, we did meet last week with Garvin Donegan from the Central Maine Growth Council, Roger Kraus from the Water District, and Mike Watson, who's a town resident, who was nice enough to help us with our review, who has a background in this sort of work.
Okay.
And we came to a conclusion and have made a recommendation, which you would have received that memo today. First of all, we received some wonderful proposals from some wonderful firms that have expertise in this type of project. We were grateful for some of the large firms that we received information from, as well as lesser-known firms, but The recommendation from the committee is for Dirigo Engineering, who happens to be a Fairfield-based firm, and this is all happening, quite frankly, in their backyard and front yard. They did present the best possible solutions for us and managed to, in their proposal, hit all of the requirements that we had asked for in the RFQ, with a lot of information regarding funding and funding sources in which they've assisted municipalities with that process, which we all know is what one of our biggest issues we have is funding for this project. As it was, originally, and when we put out this RFQ, I had thought that maybe it was a possibility of using TIF funds to help us with the planning and the development of this. It is not a possibility at this point. However, we do have a planning and development reserve account that has approximately $31,600 in it, give or take, and we can use it for that, to get us to the point where we can arrange additional funding and acquire additional funding as the process continues. Fortunately, the proposal from Dirigo Engineering does come in under that dollar amount, but I am hoping that we will receive additional grant funds for development and not have to use all of that piece, and be able to go forward as we go through. And we had discussed as a committee whether or not we wanted to do interviews, whether or not we wanted to do more specific proposals with some finalists, and it is the committee's recommendation that you move swiftly to retain Dirigo Engineering and direct the town manager to begin project scoping with Dirigo Engineering project management team. We do want to be ready when the feds release the money to hopefully help us construct this project. So, but Mike is here and Garvin is here, both to answer any questions you may have with our process. Yep. So take it from there.
Right. If you've got, either one of you gentlemen or both have got anything, you can go up to the podium and talk about it.
If you would like me to.
Especially if I missed anything.
Well, good evening, councilors, council chair, Michelle, Christine, and members of the public. Garvin Dunnigan, Central Maine Growth Council. So without wanting to kind of reiterate what I think Michelle nicely outlined, just maybe underscore a few key points. As the council knows, the town issued an RFQ or established an RFQ process at the beginning stages of April 2021, requesting qualifications to support civil and environmental engineering services. We were looking for qualifying proposals from eligible consulting teams and firms that were asked to demonstrate substantial expertise in the field as a result of growing concerns related to PFAS contamination. The town council, of course, subsequently brought together a review committee, and that review committee reviewed a total of 5 proposals. Really do want to say genuinely, and even from an interpersonal perspective, how strong each proposal was from a variety of firms at different scales and scopes. So that was really nice to see. The RFQ was picked up by local and state media, and again, just really substantive, good responses. The council did, through a competitive process, score, discuss, and unanimously agree on Fairfield-based Dirigo Engineering for the reasons as Michelle outlined, including expertise in the field, specifically familiarity with state and regional water drinking programs, as well as, and I think probably fair to say, an outlier in their proposal, an extremely keen eye on some public-private funding opportunities, more than just kind of the standard stuff that you see. So with that said, that's the basis for the selection of Dirigo Engineering, as well as the dialogue we had from a project timeline perspective, is wanting to move as expeditiously as possible, as well as hopefully directing the town manager to move to be able to begin project scoping, so there's good alignment and we're prepared for funding opportunities. It's not without kind of irony that we're here, as I think just the other day there was the emergency LD that Michelle referenced. So again, Dirigo Engineering unanimously selected based on the management team expertise, and would like to say thank you. We do have Mr. Watson here, and really appreciate his expertise on this matter, as well as Mr. Roger Kraus, and really just the continued leadership by Michelle goes without saying. So happy to answer any questions or comments.
Yes, Ms.
The timeline for Dirigo to get something written out for us so that we will be prepared for when there's money from the federal government available. What is that timeline looking like?
Yeah, it's approximately a 6-month window,
Yep.
But I'm sure we're going to want to do project scoping in terms of alignment on project delivery and those timetables, but that was the approximate timeline.
And there's been nothing from the governor's office concerning any monies that could come our way at all?
There is related funding to specific PFAS carve-outs, both that we're monitoring from the federal government and the state government.
Nothing specific that says your municipality should apply for this. Not yet.
Not yet.
There have been set-asides, funding. First of all, I think there's a lot of this is still subject to budget, the amendment to the budget approval anyway. But there has been some set-aside. So like there's $40 million for the Department of Ag to help affected farmers. There's another $40 million set aside to help cure. And there's some remediation funds and that sort of stuff, and nobody's really issued anything yet as to how the processes are going to be to issue any of these funds at this time. We have been told that there are funds coming from the federal level later this fall, and that there'll be some pieces probably with the state to help with remediation. And then also there is the, what is it, the American Recovery Program funds to the tune of about $600,000 that the town should receive in 2 equal installments over the course of the next 2 years that we can use towards grant matches, because water expansion, sewer expansion, broadband is part of that package. So we're looking at any and all funding sources at all possible, but nothing definitive yet that says specifically PFAS money, come get it.
So, lastly, I'm very pleased with the committee's choice. I really liked how Dirigo presented their prospectus for the town farm project that we had done, and being right from Fairfield is a big plus for me, so I want to thank you very much. I'm done.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Questions or whatever?
Are they just scoping that certain area we talked about in April, down from North York Road down to Ohio to 201, or are they going to scope the whole Fairfield area?
The entire area.
Okay.
Yep. And it doesn't give real specifics simply because of the fact that they mentioned the fact, and we all knew, that this process is still continuing to evolve as DEP continues to discover additional wells. So their report is going to be, what are our options, what are our best possible options, and those sort of pieces to go forward and to start on that process.
They're going to do both water and sewer at the same time? Or?
So it's a conversation that I will probably mention to them. It wasn't in the RFQ, but
Right.
If you're going to dig a hole, why dig it twice? But the other piece of this is to make sure we keep our eye on the actual goal, which is to provide drinking water, and the fact that we can't install sewer at the same time because of cost shouldn't interfere with that at all. But if there is a way that you could capture a grant that allowed you to do both, because a lot of this recovery money does allow for both, so why not take advantage of that as well? But certainly, the end run goal is the drinking water piece.
So they're just looking at expansion, not also too, may possibly replacing old, the water connections that were in place already? We're just looking to expand off the,
Nothing, no repairs per se, unless it's needed for the expansion is what we would be looking at. So it's not like we would say, dig up all of Main Street to put in new pipe. You know, but it doesn't mean that there was probably more than likely a possibility that a pump station that exists is going to have to be upgraded because the water has to go forward.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing, is what are all of our options? Is it a standpipe out in the center filled with water and then you do distribution from there? Or is it just straight distribution with large pumping systems? You know, that's what the goal of this is, to come up with what are those possible best solutions.
Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Watson, you care to say anything?
No, I think Garvin covered it pretty well.
Okay.
We did come to a unanimous decision, and I think that's very important for you folks to understand. We had 4 different perspectives, 4 different backgrounds, and all came to the same conclusion, so.
Very good.
I want to thank you just standing up
Yeah.
and helping the committee.
Yeah, thank
on
you.
this.
I told Michelle, it was my pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity to participate. So
Yeah. Yeah, we
Tells
thank
him
you
you might
much.
be sorry for volunteering in the future. Now that I know what his expertise is in.
All right. Okay, you may sit down, sir.
Thank you, councilors.
Could I get you to, if you choose to go forward with this motion, to make sure we amend it to note and include who the firm is?
Year ago.
Yeah.
All right, I will accept an amendment.
I think I made the...
It was
You did make
Thibodeau
the
and
motion.
Taylor.
Okay. I'll make the friendly amendment to include Dirigo Engineering to be awarded the contract for civil and, well, you'll know what.
You don't have to
got
say
it.
it all over
All
again.
right.
I think I
gotcha.
seconded it.
Jericho
Mike
Engineering.
seconded that.
Mike, okay.
And I will second the friendly amendment on that.
Okay. Any more discussion? Questions, whatever? Okay, all in favor? Carries unanimous. All right. Now, moving on to our 7th order of business, which is a council workshop and other business. The first on the council workshop would be to discuss a solid waste transfer station on Industrial Drive by Gregory's Disposal DEP filing notice.
And we sent a copy of this, I sent a copy of it out to all of you last week. The biggest reason I wanted to put this on your agenda for this evening for you to discuss was simply whether or not you were interested in requesting the public hearing that is part of the permitting process. I do not believe that we have actually received a copy of the official permit, as this says, in office, unless it's en route, and this letter got to us before the permit did.
Or did this go through regular mail?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a good
Yeah,
chance.
so there's a very good possibility that the large package, that's the application for DEP, we haven't actually received
Did
yet.
Gregory's purchase the property already, or was this,
I believe it's under contract. There's not a lot of details about this, because this is still a work in
and
progress.
location, is it going to be right next to the current business out there, or?
No,
No?
no. So the BDS tire that is there, and as you're heading down Industrial Drive towards the ball fields, there's 4 lots, one right after the other, one on Industrial Road that going
there's
towards the
one for sale
interstate.
right now.
There's 4 lots. That's currently under a different contract.
Mm-hmm.
Then you continue forward, there's the town land that was gifted to us by Doug Cutchins, the 9 acres for the expansion of the Pal Fields. Then the industrial road would go up and around that. There's a piece behind the town land and adjacent to the Guimont property where the new solar field is going in. It's that small, that piece of property that's above the town's property, but before the Guimont property for the solar,
On the interstate side?
on the interstate side.
So it'll be viewed from the interstate, or or not?
I have no idea I don't even think the official design has been submitted, but there is a permitting process through the DEP where they regulate anything to do with solid waste and transfer stations. There's also a planning board process for design review and all of that. This request for a public hearing is specifically regarding a transfer station being located here in town. It is a use that is already allowable in that zone. It's not like we're changing our zoning, it is already allowable. It would just simply be the public hearing regarding DEP's permit for a solid waste transfer station.
Okay.
So it gives the town residents an opportunity to go someplace in Fairfield rather than driving clear over to the airport road for their
That is true.
waste
Or they go to...
Or to go to Waste Management in Orange Walk.
walk.
Well, I'm concerned too, since we have a binding agreement with Norwich Walk for the prices. If Gregory gets this bid and does this, will the prices go up on this so he can transport it to Norwich Walk?
No, because our contract is with Waste Management, not with Gregory's.
Okay.
So it could go a myriad of different ways. So say Gregory's wants to, because one of the things, remember that the only thing that we are required to do is provide a location for people to take trash. We do not have to go into an agreement with Gregory's. Just because they're located here in town doesn't mean that we have to, the town of Fairfield doesn't have to have an agreement with them. They simply could not want to, they could want to cut down on their transportation costs and know that their customers won't pay for trash pickup. Their customers can just bring them trash.
Because I know he has a lot of pickups, he has a lot of dumpsters and
Right.
things like that.
And then-
I know he's running out of room at his current location.
And the other piece is that he could negotiate with the town that if he collects town trash tickets, he submits them to us and we will pay him for that. There's nothing that prevents us from doing that. We don't have an exclusive contract with Norwich Walk. We went with Norwich Walk because at the time it was the only place to go because of the way things were. So we don't know what that would look like.
Yeah, because my concern, I didn't write anything down, when we received that email, is safety for the kids out there.
Always.
Because I remember Clinton solid waste, because I used to live in Benton. They was way off the beaten path, the traffic. That's what I'm concerned about, the traffic going on Industrial Road while the kids are there and things like that in the big trucks.
Right.
So,
Seems like there's a lot of questions still.
There is still a lot of questions, and there's a lot of things, and again, this is a long process, which is the reason for this notification now, because we could request a public hearing, it could be 6 months to a year before it ever even happened. But what I wanted to know was that, is that something that the town council would like me to do when to make sure because it's a limited window of time in which you can request a public hearing and all of that.
did you get anything from PAL? Because I know you was going to send this information up.
I haven't received anything yet, but
Okay.
and I think that would be part of the process, is that they would want to know that. The way that these facilities work, though, too, usually they're fenced. Stormwater isn't, needs to be treated. There's huge environmental pieces that go into play, because there's all kinds of worries and concerns. I mean, the number of vehicles coming in and with trash in the back of their trucks, and how much trash is going to build up in the ditch line, and who's responsible for picking that up, and there's a lot of different things that you could ask.
Or if they're closed, they might just dump it right in front of his
Fencing.
gate. Yep.
I mean, if we expand, if the municipality itself, if right now, the way things are going, there's a couple other pieces in the works, but the road looks as though the expansion of Industrial Road right now is on track to be built by the solar company that's putting in the Guimont Solar Project. So that road will be constructed all the way to the town line. So if the connection gets done on the Waterville end, you're going to have increased traffic up there anyway, just simply because of the bypass. Most of that, though, happens during the
That means
day.
you might
That's
get,
going to be during business hours.
You might get business from the Waterville side, too.
Right,
So,
yeah. So
Well,
there's a
he's
lot
got,
happening out in the industrial
And
road.
he's got customers, he picks up trash, even
Oh, yeah.
though Waterville has their own trash, he still picks up
Right.
trash in Waterville and, Oakland and whatever, so he's got, great. I think we probably should consider on this as a public meeting, yes.
I'm in favor of it as
Are
well.
you too?
Agree.
So I'll make sure that that happens when that opportunity
Is
arises.
the only one that's not owned by Casella at the moment?
Moment.
Yeah. I'm just worried too, because he has a repair truck business at his current location, possibly bringing it down to the new location.
So this project is being headed up by Kyle.
Kyle, yep,
Yep,
yep, I know his son.
yep. Okay, good.
How much land is there involved there? I didn't see anything in there. Do you know the lot size up there?
Don't know off the top of my head. I really don't. I think it's somewhere in the, I don't dare guess. But I can find out.
20 acres or
No, it's not that much.
less than 10 probably?
I think it's less than 10, but again, I don't want to guess. Don't make me guess.
Less than 100?
It's less than 100,
Yeah.
that I can tell you.
All right.
Greater than one.
But greater than one.
Because
More than one, less than 100. Okay.
Because I remember what Clinton looked like for dropping off the brush, dropping off your little dumpsters for everything else. You can possibly have it that way, but they had issues too, so.
DEP regulations for that kind of stuff. So that's all their permitting pieces and how
Yeah,
that all
so-
works. Okay, so when the opportunity arises, I will make
It's not
sure
like the old
we
days.
request a
You
public
just
hearing.
can't go out and play in the dump like some
I know.
of his kids. Find all kinds of
Dump
critters
pickers,
out
yeah.
there.
I know.
Ride your mini bike out through the dump.
Okay.
Ride all over the place.
Okay.
Come back and get some stuff, fix it up.
Fix it up.
When
Sell
I
it.
was a kid.
Get a
I
new
won't
bike.
go that far.
Yep.
No.
With the
I'll
dump.
pass on that.
All right, good. I have what I need, thank you.
Okay. And now, moving on to discuss other council business. Stephanie.
Well, Public Works has been busy painting the lines in the road. I complained last year. I'm going to say my 2 cents worth this year.
But that you can't make out what they say?
They're blurry. They're not straight. When you see going down Main Street and the parking lots, where you park, one, they go in, some go out straight, one goes in. I'm not sure about the crossing at the railroad, if it's supposed to be written that way. But I think somebody needs to talk with somebody.
Just like, stop here. It's getting a little smaller each year.
So
I don't know what's going on.
Stop ahead.
So one of the things you need to realize is we're lucky we've gotten as much painting done as we have. There's actually a shortage.
There's no paint.
There's a shortage on line paint. In fact, I received a call from the Public Works Director probably 2 months ago, and he said, which 3 crosswalks do you want painted? Because we think that's all we're going to be able to do. So we were able to find some paint. But I agree, I think we have issues with our paint sprayer. We have for the last couple of years, and I think it's finally at the time where we might need to look at investing
Has
in
it
a
been
new one.
drug tested? Because that's going all over the place.
Is Bruce and crew still looking at roads that were washed out on the side of the roads?
I know that there was a couple of things that they've gone out and looked at. Is
There's
there,
one on my road. I keep hearing cars, going, hitting it all the time, across from me, so.
okay.
Were they able to fill all of their positions?
No, we still have openings.
Not even close.
They got 2 open.
2 more to go. Well, anyways, I appreciate what they're doing. If you're going to do a job, I think it should be done right. And it might be time to take a look at the forms that they use, make sure they're up to date and line well so that you don't get the blurs. You don't take crowd, it just doesn't look good.
Well, if you
The city of
drive,
Augusta has no paint.
yeah.
They have no paint.
No.
You know what I would like to see painted? Down at the bottom of the hill,
Wait a minute.
Which way?
Which,
Which hill? Narrow it down.
Fish Hill, down where I live,
Oh.
going on to 139.
Okay.
The state does such a nice job, if you take the hospital exit in Augusta, and they have painted the meridians there, that teal color, that bluish green color, it looks so good. And I'll tell you, when you want to turn to go up Fish Hill, you really can't see well enough where the raised part is. So if they could ever find some of that paint, mow the grass in the cracks,
so those,
paint over it.
those are actually DOT responsibilities
Well, I bet we
for
can
that
find
area.
some.
And they painted them 2 years ago?
They only painted the sides, not the top.
No, maybe not that one, but I know they did the ones up for Ohio Hill and the other places, because I can remember commenting on the color that they choose, but
It was just the sides at the bottom of the Fish Hill. And the lighting still isn't that great there. So anything that could help would
Help
be
there.
really nice.
Yep.
That's one of my guide is when I come down 139 is that light to
Yeah.
turn on to.
And it's not a bright light either.
It's a small high-pressure sodium,
Yeah.
the yellow light, that's,
It should be LED by now.
should be an
All of our
LED
lights are LED.
by now. But it might need a bigger one, so I'll check to see what's there.
But that's state, so.
That state side
states.
on 139.
One.
Yeah.
No, I think it's ours. Streetlights in town, doesn't matter what road they're on, they're ours.
They are ours?
I'll double check how big that is. It might need a bigger one.
Thank you.
I'll see what it is.
Okay. Anything else, Steph?
I'm done. Thank you.
Michael?
I got nothing.
I'm good.
I just want to wish all the residents a happy 4th of July, and just remember too about fireworks. We've been in a drought and very dry. Just use caution if you're doing your own little fireworks, and get a hold of Dwayne's crew down to the fire department to see if you actually can shoot fireworks off, because they have been doing it already.
Well, there is, I mean, we do have town,
We do have an ordinance, and it
Town
probably
ordinance
need to
on
start
fireworks.
promoting
Yep.
that again.
The week before.
yeah, we might be a good idea to.
We'll start promoting.
To
They've been
put
doing
it out to the
They've
public.
been doing it already in
Yeah.
Iowa.
And across from me, they're doing it.
Yep.
Calendar reminder,
Martin
actually,
Stream Road
right
does
up for me.
it
I know. And I think
Yeah.
that there's a reminder for a post for
It's next,
Facebook that's
yeah,
coming up.
for me,
too.
it's next Monday, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's next.
Oh, yeah?
Some of these sound like
The big
that.
seal, Mrs. We.
Oh,
Some of them.
Yeah.
there's a range down there, that's why.
Okay.
Where?
There's an automatic rifle range down somewhere down there.
Where? Are we talking? A rifle range in town? Well, it's
There's a
not on
range.
Center Road across from my.
No, it's not.
No, it's not near there.
And
No.
it's not a permitted range either.
No.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So we're good there, good there, good there. So our next regular meeting of our Fairfield Town Council will be on Wednesday, July 14th, 2021, to be held as a hybrid meeting via Zoom in the council chambers at 6:30 PM. We will now go into recess to sign all documents that require signature of council members.
Motion to recess.
Second.
We are recessed.